There are nights that swallow people whole, nights where the wind screams through the trees like a warning, nights where the darkness is so heavy, so suffocating that even your heartbeat feels too loud, nights when you realize something frightening. The people you love most have the power to hurt you the most. Not strangers, not enemies, not outsiders, but the ones who share your blood. There are moments in life, moments that crush the chest, moments you don't speak about because speaking about them would make them real. Moments when the people you trusted the most shatter you. Moments when betrayal crawls into your life silently. And when it happens, you can taste the fear. You can feel the world closing in. You can feel the pain running so deep that even breathing hurts. You lose a version of yourself. You begin to wonder, why would Allah let people closest to me break me? Why would He allow those I love to be the ones who hurt me? Why this pain? Why this story? Why this me? But what if Allah is not letting them break you? What if He is removing you from a place that could never grow you? What if the betrayal you fear is actually the vehicle that will carry you to the destiny He wrote for you long before you were born? This is the kind of pain that makes some people walk away from Allah, and yet this is the same pain that made some people walk toward Allah, because sometimes Allah writes the most painful beginnings for the sake of the most beautiful endings. And sometimes to rise, Allah has to put you through a fall. Sometimes to protect your soul, He has to break your attachments. Sometimes to shape your story, He has to let others rip it apart. The story you're about to hear is one of those stories. A story where a young boy stands alone in the darkness of a well, with the sound of water echoing beneath him, his voice swallowed by the night, and his heart torn by the betrayal of the ones who were supposed to protect him. A story where a man rises from slavery to authority, from prison to honor, from the deepest darkness to the highest light. A story that teaches you, no matter who breaks you, Allah can rebuild you in a way more beautiful than before. This is the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, not told as a fairy tale, not told as a children's bedtime story, but told as a lesson, a mirror, a path, a reminder for anyone who has ever been betrayed, abandoned, humiliated, or forgotten. Because if Allah can turn a boy thrown into a well into a ruler of a kingdom, then what makes you think He cannot rewrite your story? It began on a calm morning. Inside the house of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, there was warmth, not from the sun, but from love. For there, sitting close to his father, was a young boy, bright-eyed, pure-hearted, smiling with a gentleness that could calm storms. A boy named Yusuf. He was young, maybe 8, maybe 10, but his heart already carried a light that made people pause. And on that day, he whispered to his father a dream that would change the destiny of nations. "Oh, my father, I saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon, bowing down to me." It was innocent, it was pure, but sometimes Allah gives you visions of your future long before He gives you the strength to carry it. And Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam knew. He knew this dream was not ordinary. He knew this dream came from the heavens. He knew Allah had written something extraordinary for this child. But he also knew something else. Greatness always comes with tests. And so he held his son close, quietly, protectively, and whispered, "Oh, my beloved son, do not tell your brothers your dream, or they may plot against you, for Shaitan is an enemy to mankind." He wasn't warning his son out of paranoia. He was warning him out of wisdom, because sometimes the people who envy you are the ones closest to you. Sometimes people don't hate your success. They hate the potential of your success. They hate the idea that Allah might choose you for something they were never destined for. And that is exactly where this story begins, not with hatred, but with jealousy. Jealousy is so poisonous, it can turn brothers into enemies. Far from their father's earshot, the brothers gathered. One looked frustrated, one looked resentful, one looked ashamed but too weak to stop the others. And then the poison spilled. Yusuf, our father loves him more than he loves us. But this wasn't true. Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam loved all his sons, but Yusuf had something special: character, beauty, innocence, something Allah himself placed in him. And jealousy does not need truth to survive. It needs only emotion, and emotions can burn. Then one of them, with a voice colder than the desert night, say the words that would change everything. Let us get rid of Yusuf. A frightening statement, a sinful whisper, but Shaitan beautifies sins when hearts are clouded. One brother suggested death. Another stopped him, not out of love for Yusuf, but to ease his own guilt. No, do not kill him. Throw him into the bottom of an unused well. A caravan will find him. He will be taken far from us. A plan formed, a plan soaked in jealousy, pain, and darkness. And sometimes, this is how betrayal happens. Not suddenly, but slowly, born from whispers, born from emotions people refuse to control. Yet Allah was planning too. Allah was writing a different script, one the brothers could not imagine. Because when people take you out of their story, Allah writes you into a better one. The next day, the brothers came to their father with smiles too wide, too eager. Father, let Yusuf come with us. He should play. He should run. He should enjoy the day. Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam hesitated. His heart tightened. A father's intuition, a prophet's insight. I fear that wolves might harm him, he said. The brothers reassured him. They spoke warmly, confidently, convincingly. And sometimes the greatest lies are spoken with the softest voices. Finally, with a heavy heart but trust in Allah, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam allowed Yusuf to go. Yusuf walked with his brothers, innocent, smiling, trusting. He didn't know that not all who walk beside you walk with love. And this is a lesson for every heart today. Be kind, but don't be blind. Trust Allah more than you trust people, because humans can change. Allah never does. When they reached the well, the brothers' smiles faded, their tone changed, their eyes hardened, and before Yusuf could process anything, hands grabbed him, voices rose, fear flooded his chest. For the first time, he saw his brothers as strangers. They tore off his shirt, they dragged him toward the well, and he cried, he begged, he called them by their names. But jealousy turns hearts to stone, and with one frightening moment, they lowered him into the darkness, down, 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 until he touched the cold stones, until his voice echoed, until he felt alone in a world he didn't understand. A young boy in a deep well, in the heart of a desert, betrayed by the people he loved most. And yet, Allah never left him. Sometimes the people who hurt you are the same people you would have died for. Sometimes Allah lets you fall into a hardship, distress, not to break you, but to remove you from places you were never meant to stay. Sometimes your will is the beginning of your rise. In that moment of despair, a message came from Allah. Yusuf, one day you will remind them of this deed while they do not know. Meaning, one day you will rise above this. One day you will be in a position of power. One day you will stand face to face with those who wronged you, and you will not be the one begging. They will. Imagine receiving that reassurance at the bottom of a well. This is Allah. He lets people push you into darkness only because He plans to lift you higher than they ever dreamed. Your well is not your end, it is your beginning. The brothers slaughtered the goat, soaked Yusuf's shirt in blood, and returned home, faking tears. Father, a wolf ate him. Prophet Yaqub looked at them, then looked at the shirt, a shirt soaked but strangely intact. He knew they were lying, but what could he do? He raised his hands and said, "Patience, beautiful patience." And sometimes the greatest strength is not fighting back. Sometimes it is trusting Allah's timing even when the world collapses around you. A caravan passed, lowered a bucket into the same well, and found a boy clinging to life. "A slave," they exclaimed, "a treasure to sell." They took him to Egypt. They sold him like merchandise, from beloved son to abandoned child, from abandoned child to slave. Life doesn't fall apart all at once, it breaks in stages, but every stage has purpose. The minister of Egypt bought Yusuf and noticed something different in him: grace, purity, character, light. He told his wife, "Take care of him, he may benefit us greatly." Yusuf grew into a noble young man, handsome, wise, righteous, but beauty is a test, and it soon came for him. Al-Aziz's wife tried to seduce him. He refused. He chose prison over sin. He chose Allah over desire. He chose honor over momentary pleasure, and for that he was thrown into prison, innocent. But listen again, sometimes Allah puts you in a prison, in a situation you don't like, to pull you away from a sin that would have destroyed you. Even in prison, people were drawn to him. Two young men asked him to interpret dreams for them. Before doing so, he gave them dawah. He taught them about Allah. He showed them goodness. And when one of them was freed, Yusuf said, "Mention me to the king." But he forgot, and Yusuf remained in prison. Years passing silently, patiently, faithfully. If you are ever stuck somewhere in life, remember this. Sometimes Allah delays your exit because your rise needs more preparation. One night, the king saw a disturbing dream. 7 fat cows eaten by 7 thin ones, 7 green ears of grain and 7 dry. No one could interpret it. Then the freed prisoner remembered there was a man in prison, a truthful man. Yusuf was brought out. Calmly, confidently, he explained the dream. 7 years of prosperity followed by 7 years of drought. The king was stunned. He wanted to free Yusuf immediately, but Yusuf refused until his innocence was proven. He wasn't seeking freedom, he was seeking truth. Finally, the women confessed. Al-Aziz's wife admitted, "I sought to seduce him. He is truthful." And Yusuf walked out of prison, not as a criminal, not as a slave, but as a man of honor. The king appointed him over the treasuries of Egypt, from the well to slavery, to innocence, to prison, to the palace. Allah can flip your story in ways you never expect. Years passed, the famine spread, people came to Egypt for food, and among them stood Yusuf's brothers, older now, broken by hardship. They bowed before him, just as in his dream. But they didn't recognize him, he recognized them. Imagine that moment, standing before the same people who threw you into a well, who ruined your childhood, who destroyed your life. He could have destroyed them, he could have exposed them, he could have humiliated them, but Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was not a man of vengeance, he was a man of heart. And so he spoke, "There is no blame upon you today. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful." This right here is the greatest moment of the story, not the dream, not the escape, not the palace. Forgiveness. Forgiveness when forgiveness felt impossible. Forgiveness when memories still hurt. Forgiveness not because they deserved it, but because he deserved peace. Yusuf brought his parents to Egypt. He placed them on the throne beside him. His brothers bowed before him in respect. And he said, "This is the explanation of my dream long ago. Allah has been good to me." He did not say, "My brothers were cruel." He said, "Allah was good." What a heart, what a man, what a believer. And to you, learn to forgive people and say, "Oh Allah, give me the heart of Yusuf. Give me the patience of Yaqub. Give me the ending you gave them both."